It's almost like challenging age-long tradition, things that we've known all along. And you know the thing about change, you've believed something all your life, and all of a sudden you get told that, sorry, that is bad. And you'd be like, I've been surviving, right? You know, it is very interesting, and yet it's good. We have to learn.
Yes, you know, a lot of people, when you tell them, are like, no, I've used it since I was young. I've used it for my children. They're okay.
They're fine
with them, you know, and it's very difficult to convince them. I said, okay, so why are you here? Why are you at the clinic today? I can link what you have to the fact that your skin hasn't been, you know, properly cared for over time and is vulnerable. I mean, there are chances that you use it and nothing happens, but you increase your risk of it. And then also things like your skin aging quickly, because some of those things help your skin to stay young. So it may not always be an infection, it may just be the way your skin looks generally. And you know, I always tell people that if you drink alcohol a lot, it's not the first day you start drinking it that your liver will be damaged. It's a cumulative effect. So you may use it for several years before you begin to have complications or side effects. Doesn't mean that it's fine for you to use it.
Let's talk about disinfectants and the one that we have to add to our water.
Yeah, it's part of it. It's not. It is part of it. I'm serious. I work as a senior registrar in dermatology, and a lot of the people we see, when you take a history, you find that you can link a lot of problems to using Savlon, using disinfectants in water, and you know that is also part of removing your skin microbiome. A lot of people say, oh, the water is not clean, I don't feel comfortable, and I always tell them that you can get a filter. Most people in Nigeria use borehole water because we don't really have portable pipe-borne water as much as we should. So there are these filters you can put before the water gets into your home that takes out any form of infection or any germs that may be in the water. It's better than putting that in it. And even if you do need to put anything in your water? Do you know what is in swimming pool water?
Chlorine.
Exactly. What is in potted water, pipe-borne water? It's chlorine. What is the commonest source of chlorine?
I don't know.
Sodium hypochlorite bleach.
Yes.
So if you
see our reaction right now.
Sodium hypochlorite is bleach. So if you do need to put anything in your water, a little bit of bleach is better than anything, because the studies have shown that is more friendly or is less harmful to the human skin than
I'm going to cut because I have this. You see, I'm
not that you put a whole bottle, just a tiny bit, because it's chlorine. Water is chlorinated to be disinfected. You will never see anybody putting those disinfectants we put in our water inside swimming pool water. If they were the right thing to use, then they will probably be what is inside swimming pool water. But the Igbo people that do research have found that the chlorine is what is, you can use that. So if you do have concerns about your quality of water, that can be an alternative, and it's less damaging to the skin. But what I will advise is filter your water. There are, external filters that you can put before the water even comes into the home. You can do that. And then if you do need to use anything, use chlorine.
Okay, you saw the way we jumped up. Because this morning we were having a sort of argument, debates, and a conversation with one of our colleagues who said it was actually a doctor, a certified doctor, that told her that they could put a little of bleach into the water. And I'm like, no, that can't be possible. That you're certified does not make you a good doctor, because bleach, the idea of bleach sounded really threatening.
It's not. That is what is recommended, especially with people who have a tendency to have skin infection. There's a skin condition called atopic dermatitis, common in young children. And when they have that, they tend to have a lot of rashes that they itch, and it's open and can get infected because it gets, they scratch it and it gets sore and bleeds. So in that case, they are more at risk of developing skin infections. But we don't tell them to put antiseptics. We tell them to do what we call bleach baths. It's in the books. It's
wow.
So the bleach baths help to minimize, harmful bacteria that might be on their skin and all that. So yes, and like I said, I mean, we all go swimming and we swim in chlorine water. Bleach is the same chemical agent. It's just the concentration.
Yeah.
So what you just need to do is not pour the whole thing, maybe a cup or two.
Okay, into how many?
Into if you have a bucket of water. Okay. Bucket of water usually is about 10 liters or maybe 6 liters. Okay. You can pour a cup or two into it. Yeah, tiny bit of it. Yeah. And that's fine. Not that you pour.
It's very hard to accept. I hate to accept that I'm wrong.
Or you are, in this instance, yes, you are.
Because I see we use in fact, my disinfectant.
But it's not for everybody. It's not necessary for everyone. That's what we're saying.
Wow.
If you have a good clean source of water, it's not necessary. And I mean, if you have a water filter system on the outside of your home, it's not necessary. But sometimes maybe you go to a village or you go somewhere where they are not certain about, the source of water.
It can be applicable in that case.
Yes.
So what about the mothers? On a general note, if you're to tell the mothers that even though they have good bowl water or good potable water in their house, and yet they're adding some disinfectants just to be sure.
Please don't. Let your child's immune system develop.
Oh.
Yeah, because when you do that, you make the immune system is not exposed to a lot of things. Then when it becomes exposed, it reacts excessively. So it's even okay, especially people who say, oh, well, they don't want anybody to touch their child.
Yeah.
That touch, exposes them to certain germs and microbes that helps their immune system to develop. But when you don't allow any exposure, that's where the problems come in. That's where they start having allergy, they react to everything on the face of the earth.
Yes.
And they start having issues, even later on in life could have autoimmune or skin immune problems. So let people be exposed as much as possible. There are a lot of studies going on these days about the fact that even the gut bacteria. So there's something that they're researching, fecal therapy. I won't talk about that here.
That's
quite disgusting. Yeah, but what science is just showing to us is that these bacteria are part of us, basically. You have almost 2 to 3 kg of your weight being from your bacteria. So
really?
Yes. So you shouldn't. They are part of you. They help you, and they also help your immune system to function both inside and outside. So we shouldn't always feel and it's the same with antibiotics. Any little thing we take antibiotics. And you kill off all your normal flora, and then problems start coming in from there. So we shouldn't be too prim and proper. Too much of anything basically is bad. It's good for hygiene because there are a lot of harmful germs that can cause infections. So hand washing is very important as often as possible. But what is recommended is plain soap and water, not antiseptic or medicated.
Okay, I have two questions. This one is one I've seen. I want to know if it's right. Okay, so there was a child. She had, let me say, between the age of, let's say, 9, 10. So she had vaginal infection.
Yeah.
And then her mom decided to take a disinfectant. I don't want to call it the brand name, but you should know the one I'm talking about. And then to put on the
vagina.
Yes.
That is
because she believes that, okay, you have an infection, this is a disinfectant, so it should be able to help you. So is that right? Is that practice right?
Oh, it's extremely wrong and very harmful. So just like the skin, the vagina has its own microbes. It has its own bacteria. And those bacteria are very important to keeping the vagina clean and healthy. And the vagina is very acidic. If the skin is 5, the vagina is like 3.5 pH. It's very acidic pH. And that's because of, it's a protective mechanism so that, during sexual intercourse, there are some bacteria that cannot survive there, basically. So the vagina cleans itself, literally. And it's only things that can stand that pH that can survive there, and those are usually healthy bacteria. So when you have most times when people take antibiotics, you find that they may kill off some of the healthy bacteria. And like I said, antibiotics are targeted at bacteria. We also have fungus in our body. So what happens is when they kill off the bacteria, the fungus are now free. They're like, oh, we have space, and they now overgrow. It's just like if you have food for 10 people and then you remove 5 people. Those 5 people that eat the food for 10 people, they will overeat and become fat. So the fungus now overgrows and starts causing problems. So people may start having discharge. So that's why sometimes people are required to take probiotics. Probiotics contain healthy bacteria. Like a common probiotic in our environment is yogurt. It contains lactobacillus. Yes. So the probiotic will help to replace some of the lost bacteria from the antibiotics. So an antiseptic will not clean fungi. That's the reason why it doesn't really help. So it will just create more instability.
Wow.
So if a person has a vaginal infection, the best thing to do is go to a hospital, have a vaginal swab test done to make sure that they are the exact problem, so it can be treated. Because it may not require antibiotics, it may require antifungal treatment, and if we keep treating with antibiotics, it doesn't get better. And then if the vaginal pH is not maintained, it can dry up, they can have more infections, and if a person is sexually active, they may have pain during sexual intercourse. So you shouldn't, mothers, please don't put anything in there. The vagina is very capable of cleaning it. Even putting soap in the vagina is not the right thing to do. You should just wash with water.
The feminine washes, some people, some school of thought, some doctors also claim that you shouldn't even use any of them. The same way some even tell you not to use some sort of scented pads or panty liners.
That's very true. So people react differently to different things. And really this feminine wash is not necessary. But we human beings, we are just excessive. We just want, how can I not use, water and soap to wash? So, okay, they've now created a soap that if you must use, just use that. But you really don't need to use anything.
And before I even ask the second question I wanted to ask you, we have feminine sprays too.
Yes.
Yes.
Really?
I know I used to use it one time.
They're
so
not
is
necessary.
It not necessary?
They're not necessary.
Okay.
I think we just like to, just like we do so many things that are really not necessary. So it's one of those things. But what we draw the line with, as long as it's not harmful.
Okay.
So a lot of people react to things. So if you don't tolerate it, please avoid it. If it works, if it's okay for you, just make sure that it's something that is created especially for that purpose and is pH balanced. And if you must, but the ideal thing is not necessary.
All right. So we have a comment on Facebook from Philip
Stephen O. Simeon.
Yes, and he's saying, really, bleach?
I'm following though. That same look we had.
Yeah, everybody is like, what? Yes. But when you think about it, what is in swimming pool? Everybody swims and is happy to swim or go to a swimming pool. And they never question, the fact that it's just, what is in the water is just a dried form of bleach. Yeah. So I think if the antiseptics were better, they would probably
would have added
exactly. But they're not. They're because they've been found to have so many other things. So the risk outweighs the benefit. So, but with science and medicine, there's always a pro and a con. But when you use something, it's because the pros are more than the cons. But when the cons are more than the pros, then you don't.
You shouldn't.
You shouldn't.
Talking about soap still, where do you place these concocted natural mixtures and soaps, black soaps, for example? And these days, you as a dermatologist, I'm sure you know better that there are a lot of them these days. So
there are so many mixologists these days, just making all kinds of things. The truth is, and we're doing a lot of studies on that, natural black soap is very good for the skin. Very, very good for the skin. And that's because it's been found to be very close. It's not like the same pH as the regular soap. It's a lower pH. And there are a few studies we're working on to prove this. But a lot of the people who make soaps now are not following the old traditional way of making the soap. So they're losing something along the way that makes the soap to be beneficial. Although some people preserve that, but it's difficult to tell. Our problem in Africa is that we have a lot of great ideas, but we don't regulate.
We have a call. Gladys from Lagos. Hello.
Okay.
Hi, good morning.
Hello, Gladys.
Sorry, I want to quickly ask about scabies. When she opened the show, she talked about scabies. And I know that, I know of someone who had scabies, and the person was scared to share his clothing and stuff with other people. So I want to know, is this a communicable skin disease?
Okay, thank you very much for calling. Okay.
Exactly, please, let her just talk about it because it's scary. I read about it and I was really scared. Thank you very quickly. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Scabies is a very, very infectious skin disease.
Okay.
It's commonly found, well, the most common place that we see scabies today is in prisons, and that's because people are in close contact. Our prisons tend to be a bit overcrowded. So we have a lot of that, but young children too, because they play together, they sleep probably together and all that. So it is quite infectious and it's very distressing because it's a lot of itching, rashes and all that. If one is suspected of having scabies or suspected to have scabies, it's better to see a doctor, preferably a dermatologist, because it's something that can spread. And usually when one person in the home has scabies, you have to check everybody. You have, yes, no sharing of clothes, definitely not clothes or towel, because they're most likely going to get it from, you know, the person who has it. So we quite commonly what you see with scabies is that, you know, when one child has it, all the children are itching, and even sometimes the parents. So you have to treat everybody in the home. You have to do major disinfect. I mean, you have to clean out the house. Then you have to spray an anti-scabicidal spray.
Wow.
What we use is permethrin. So you try and make sure that all the beddings. In other countries, they'll just ask you to take out everything and just burn all your bed sheets and clothing. In Nigeria, that may not be so practicable, but you have to really wash and wash down, you know, spread in hot sun, iron, and make sure, and then clean. And it takes a while, even after treatment, for the itching to stop. And then, you know, but it's something that should be treated because it's very infectious. And we have a lot of boarding school students having that because it spread from one person to the other. So it is an infectious.
One last question. That's the question I wanted to ask. Just one. Is it a yes or no? Is it going to put alum? Is it alum? Alum.
Yeah, the one that you use in settling or coagulating particles in water.
Yes,
if I'm correct.
Well,
quickly, because we don't have time.
Something like that is done in water processing, but it's not nice to do it at home because you're not sure of the quantity to use, and some of those things can be harmful to the body generally. Too much of aluminium can actually cause problems. So I won't advise people to do that at home.
A lot of things now that I have to change. I most definitely preach to others.
So just a mild, what soap should you use? A mild toilet soap that is not harsh or anything. And water, like we said.
Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
For sharing, for educating and impacting. Thank you so much once again for coming on the show. You can join us tomorrow for another exciting episode of Tea or Coffee.